China owns a lot of our debt. Not many politicians talk about the debt. They keep wanting to spend money. But because of all these assaults on our nation, and let's not forget, they caused the pandemic at that Wuhan Virology lab. Shouldn't we say, can that be a bartering tool of we're not paying back that debt, that's for reparations? Or is that saying, okay, we're going to have to head to war?
We need to impose severe costs on China because we know whatever the origin of SARS-CoV-2, the pathogen that causes COVID-19, we know that Xi Jinping deliberately spread it beyond China's borders once there was an outbreak inside his country. He did that two ways. First of all, he lied about the contagiousness, and then he actually pressured countries, especially the United States, to take arrivals from China without travel restrictions or quarantines while he was strictly locking down his own country. So that's 7 million people outside of China were deliberately killed, were murdered by China, and that includes 1.2 million Americans, according to Johns Hopkins. So really what we're talking about is we need to impose severe costs on China, because if we don't do that, then we know that China will feel free to spread the next disease. And we know that China is working on new diseases. They call them specific ethnic genetic attacks, which are pathogens that will kill non-Chinese, but will leave the Chinese immune. And by the way, we know that right now, the Wuhan Institute of Virology, which you just referred to, they're working on Ebola. Ebola, by the way, was found in that secret Chinese biological weapons lab in Reedley, California. So this is an attempt, I think, to spread the next disease in the United States.
I was covering Lou Dobbs for a while before he passed away, and you were on the show. And you mentioned that about Ebola. I couldn't sleep that night. That is a hemorrhagic type disease, really hard to control. It's really scary. Do you think our government is aware of the dangers of China?
Well, they've got to, because I don't have a security clearance. And all of this stuff is in the open. And we know that at that biological weapons lab at Reedley, California, there were, according to the official count, at least 20 pathogens. And, you talk about Ebola. Ebola in nature has a fatality rate of 50%. Some outbreaks, it's 90%. The only saving grace is that Ebola is not highly transmissible. But if the Chinese figure out how to make it highly transmissible, then we have a disease that can exterminate the American population. And I use that word because at the turn of this century, a Chinese defense minister reportedly gave a secret speech about using disease to kill every American.